Grasshopper here, Lost Valley News. Let's talk about sex, okay? Let's go all the way back in history. Let's go back to Adam and Eve. First of all, I'd like to talk candidly. Now, this is an opinion piece, so please don't everybody hit me up with a bad comment below. This is an opinion piece, and I feel like that I am in touch with a certain type of consciousness. And so, from that point, I'm going to give you my view on the Adam and Eve situation. I don't believe that when Eve sinned in the garden, it was a real apple that she ate. I believe that Adam was doing his thing in the garden and Eve was off doing her thing in the garden when she came upon a man. And this man, he was a fallen angel. He was Lucifer. He was cast down from heaven, and she came upon him in the garden, and he was dressed in beautiful armor, and he was a beautiful, beautiful man to behold. He was dressed in armor, and he had a sword on his side, and he was muscular and handsome and beautiful to look at, and he had beautiful blonde hair, and he had rippled muscles, and he was golden. He was beautiful, and he was far, far different from them. And when she seen him, she was naked. She was ashamed. She was naked. She was afraid. And she saw him, and he tempted her, and he didn't just give her an apple. I don't think that's what he did. I think it's far, far more detailed than that. What I think he did is I think he beguiled her. He took her by the hand. He took her into the woods, and he hunted for her. He had a bow and a spear, and I think that he killed something like a deer or a pheasant, and I think he killed and shed blood for her, and I think he built for her a fire and cooked for her the meat, and I think he gave it to her to eat, and then I think he lied down beside her, and I think he gave her oral sex, which is another one of the teachings of the fallen angels. There's 12 secret teachings of the fallen angels, and oral sex is one of them. There's many others. We can also get into that in another blog. That's not what I'm here for today. But I think he cooked for her the meat. He killed. He shed blood for her. He cooked her meat. He lay down with her. He had sex with her. And he put inside her his seed. And when he sent her home to her husband, Adam, inside of her, in her belly, was his child. And so her firstborn son was Cain. It was his son. And that is why the Masons call themselves the sons of the widow, because they are the firstborn sons of Eve. And I believe that that wasn't the first time that she lied with him. I believe that she continued to see him every full moon and go back. I believe he taught her how to cut the rock and build up a temple, because he was the founder of the Masons, who rejected the cornerstone, which is Jesus Christ. The Masons are the sons of Cain. They call themselves the sons of fire. And this is where they get that terminology from. And when she went home to her husband, she had a secret inside her belly. And when she went home to Adam, she built a fire, and she cooked for him the meat, and she made it for him. And he said, "Woman, what art thou doing?" And she said, "I am making fire." And he was amazed. He couldn't believe it. And when she gave him the meat to eat, she said, "Eat it, it is good. Eat it, it is good. Good meat, eat it." And he ate it, and it was good. And the fire was warm to warm yourselves beside. And the meat was good. It was different than what they had. And he was so mad at her. She had killed his beloved animals. He was very particular of the animals. Before that time, they spoke with him. At one time, all the animals could talk, and Adam could talk with the animals, and they talked just like you and I. But when she committed that sin, and she ate from the tree of knowledge, it was, in my opinion, the knowledge of the forbidden arts, and which is what the fallen ones taught to her. And this is what I believe happened. And also, they also have a book called The Lost Book of Adam and Eve. There are 52 books that were kept out of the Bible by Pope Sixtus. And Mr. Tinsdale, Reverend Tinsdale, who brought you guys all the Bible, the King James Version Bible, he burned at the stake for doing that. Common men and women weren't allowed to read the Bible. Only the Catholics were allowed to read the Bible. And so they would burn anybody alive as a heretic who would read the Bible. And Mr. Tinsdale and a group of men smuggled it out, and then they translated it into several different languages, and they held it on an island, and they voted on some different men that were going to put the books in there, what they were going to put in, what they were going to put out, and they dedicated it to King James. And of course Mr. Tinsdale was burned alive for that, and his last words were, "Let the Lord open the King James's eyes and let him see." And those were his last words. And so, like I said, talking about sex, talking about Adam and Eve. So when she had her first child, she had the fallen angel's child. She had Cain. And then the next child that she had was actually the son of humankind. That was the sons of God. And so immediately Cain slew him. Now the Masons, they attach themselves fully to Cain, and they say that that is exactly who they worship. That's their king. The sons of Cain went on to become Nimrod, who was a mighty hunter before the Lord and built the Tower of Babel. And he built the city of Babylon. And America has fallen right in those shoes. Now everywhere you look, you have this gay agenda, this agenda they're putting out. It's not that, you know, anybody has any problem with being gay. What it is when they put it as an agenda, they're putting forward a satanic Luciferian agenda, and they're trying to cram it down everybody's throats. And the more that people accept stuff like this, they just get the rights taken away, and it becomes more than it ever was. When she committed that sin in the garden, each one of us committed it. We were all there. We all have to go back in time in your hearts and your minds. That's how you heal the nation, is you go back to the Garden of Eden and you say, I did this. It was me. I chose it. I chose to do those things, and I was wrong. Please, God, forgive me. Ask Jesus to come into your heart. You know, we never know when the end of times is coming. We never know, you know, when those riders ride out, they can't go back. I implore you, ask Jesus into your life now while you still can. He loves you. He wants to be